Hello, my friends, and if I did this correctly, we should be live. Thank you all so much for coming to tonight's episode of the Strength of Thousands Adventure Path here on twitch.tv/tabletop rolls. Before we get started, a few announcements. Other shows, tomorrow night, Salt and Sorcery. Will and Matt finish off Elden Ring. We're going to be starting a little bit later. My new job has to be working till 8:30 tomorrow night, so we're going to be starting at 9.
But we will be finishing it one way or another.
Yes, we will be finishing Elden Ring. We are on the final boss of the DLC. Because next week, Matt and I,
Spasmarins.
Matt and I go from being strangers in the Erdtree mists to brothers of glorious combat for the Emperor.
And hopefully not eaten by Tyranids.
Hopefully not eaten by Tyranids. We'll get to do that together. I'm really excited for it.
I'm going to try and figure out how to do the damn co-op stuff before then.
Claws!
Oh, ow.
Then on Wednesday, a very special, a Wild Ambition, as it is our 3-year anniversary of the 4-year anniversary of the Wednesday night show.
Okay, yeah, not a Wild Ambition.
Technically, today is our affiliate anniversary.
Yes, today is the affiliate anniversary because, well, technically it starts on like the week of, but technically
Yeah, because I was able to wish it a couple days ago.
Technically, it is Wednesday. Like the exact date is Wednesday, which will be fun. Because we got it like the day we got it immediately after Wednesday, like the first Wednesday stream.
Well, it's probably not exactly on a Wednesday. It's probably on the exact date.
Yeah.
Not the weekday.
So then it could be exactly today then. But either way, we're here. God, isn't it wild that it's been so long, team?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool. Just keeps slipping away.
But we're spending it with our friends, and that's why it's fun. Then on Friday, speaking of time with our friends and fun, the Astral Calling, a completely non-painful, non-heart-wrenching session this week. It's going to be just fun space time. Then Saturday, the Tabletop Bros probably get closer to finishing off Baldur's Gate 3.
We're probably going to take down...
I think we're down. We're down calf. We're down calf this week, so never mind.
We'll figure something out.
We'll figure it out.
Why are you down calf?
Is it this week or next week we're down calf, though?
I thought maybe we were down Chad.
No, we're not down Chad. We'll figure it out. But something will happen on Saturday. And then Sunday, Cozy Co-op.
So cozy.
Maybe Sarah. Yesterday we played Core Keeper and had like a really long stream because it was Labor Day today. Happy Labor Day. Unions are good. We're doing that today. Core Keeper was yesterday. We had a really long one. It was a good time. Emily was able to stay up much later than normal.
I am ashamed to admit I thought you guys were still playing Stardew.
Yeah, that's fair.
Didn't look different enough for me to notice.
Well, that's fair. They're both pixel graphic games. But yeah. Stardew Valley next week, and then when Emily eventually is able to start playing Final Fantasy XIV with Sarah and me, we'll be doing that together. Emily's going to play White Mage, not because I won't ask them to, it because they said that that's what seemed most interesting to them. I just want to clarify that because I'm playing a tanking class, and yeah, there's a certain MMO stereotype there. But Matt, speaking of MMO stereotypes, why don't you take over for us and do the thing? I don't know.
I'm just gonna blank my mind from that introduction. I don't know what was going on there.
Just why it was a bad one.
Can't
Not
all
my
be
best
winners.
work. No, they can't.
Hello, everyone. I am Matt Urban off at various places on the internet. I am here to run these fine individuals through the Strength of Thousands adventure path. Guys, we're drawing close to the end. We've got like a smattering of little potentially missable encounters, then the final like dungeon, so to speak, of this book. and then the final book, and then everything's wrapped up nicely, and there's nothing, to happen. Don't go look at the art page on the Discord. There's nothing there.
There's a
Um,
golden ending that we're going to go for.
hey, are you reading
Why do you
the strategy
sound
guide?
so sad about that?
I'm not. It was just
It's
me
gonna-
kidding.
You literally said, there's gonna be a
Ugh.
golden ending we're going for. Like, it's a bad thing!
There is a thing I want to tell you guys that I've told Sarah, but I haven't told any of you guys yet. But I want it to happen organically in game because it's very likely one of you are going to discover this thing on your own, and I want it to be a good moment in game. But I also want to tell you because it's very tantalizing, and I would love to. Yeah, the moment I tell you, I know I will see your brain start turning. Like, what does that mean? But enough teasing you there. We are here to not jump ahead. We are still have challenges to conquer, and speaking of people who can conquer challenges, both physical and spiritual, McKenna, please introduce yourself, your character, and if you were to be a slasher-style antagonist in a kind of horror film, what would your name be? And I don't know, gimmick or something like I'm the Crow Man. I fly down or something. I don't know.
Matt, you've been really on that Duskmorn type, aren't you?
I am not easily influenced by trends. What are you talking about?
Drinks Game of Thrones mug.
This was actually, was this a gift or did this come in like a geek box? I don't remember where I got this mug.
If you said subscribe to Geekbox at any point in time, you are not beating the allegations.
I think even the subscription to the geek box was a gift because it did come with a bunch of stuff I had no interest in.
Well, the Geek Box, though, it was randomized every month what you got, basically.
Exactly.
It wasn't like it wasn't curated to one fandom because that wouldn't be sustainable.
It could be.
They have done that for certain ones. I think like they've had to like this month the box is blah 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 themed.
I got Loot Crate all throughout college, before they started stealing people's money and not sending the crates out.
But McKenna,
Yes.
please introduce yourself, your character, and your slasher villain pseudonym.
Hello, everyone. My name is McKenna Ray Tynan, McKenna Ray Art on all of the places. And tonight I'm playing Avi, the Nictero Witch, as well as her familiar Agate, who is not in the room for me to hold up in front of the camera and pat her belly and smooch her forehead. And if I had a serial killer alias, like a fictional slasher alias,
Yeah,
I've
like
never
Leatherface.
considered that before because I've never considered what my life would be like if I was a serial killer. Whereas like when you ask me what fantasy like creature would you want to have like a ridey relationship with, I have an answer ready for that because I've thought about it
Fantasy
before.
creature McKenna would want to ride.
Let me phrase it this
Not
way.
like that, you fucking weirdo. I specifically phrased it like that so you wouldn't be fucking gross about it.
I'm glad I missed that entirely. Let me phrase it this way. Is there a thing that would just push you over the edge and you'd become a very specific kind of...
I think my... Okay. Well, thank you for answering my question for me, Will. I think my like horror movie persona would be the bonker, and I just go around bonking horny men as hard as I possibly can, and it's brutal. It's like found object. Like I don't have a signature weapon. It's just whatever is large and heavy and bludgeonable. That's my weapon. That's
good,
my
Dork.
serial killer sona.
Ooh, dork! I like discarded dorks a lot for you.
Okay, that sounds like a discount Batman villain, actually.
Be a discount Batman villain.
Like
I love
Condiment King.
for future posterity. If you're watching this on YouTube, chat has just suggested McKenna as a slasher villain. I could see McKenna using a large paintbrush as their weapon of choice, going by the name. Emoji. The canvas killer who leaves a blank canvas in their victim's puddle of blood.
I always go back to the idea that someone said, the Joker being a woman is much more likely because they probably snapped after one too many people telling them, you'd be prettier if you smiled more.
Oh. Yeah.
And then she snaps and kills people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they would,
If
and
I-
they deserve it. But
Speaking of
speaking,
women who are ready to snap, kill someone.
our dear Zosie Pose,
Wearing
please
the
introduce
How Are You
yourself.
Today shirt.
My name is Zoe. I go by Zosie Pose. And if I was a serial killer, I don't know either because I have also never thought about I'm not well adjusted, so I can't use that as an excuse.
I mean, comparatively,
Sort of cryptid thing that I don't know. I think of like soot sprites. So like this comes from my like childhood nightmare that I had, like my recurring nightmare that I had, where I would just have a dream of my room. Thank you, Kat. And there would be actually a black spot that would like show up in the corner of the room, and then throughout the night it would like slowly start to like get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until the room actually opened up, and then they became these like weird kind of void creatures with wings and would just like swoop in and like take me out of the room, and then the room would just be there like nothing happened. So I guess that would maybe I would pull from that, and that would be my way of unaliving people,
The Shadow
That's
Moth.
so crazy. Has
taking
everyone
them
in
away.
chat had like I'm dreaming that I'm awake in my room nightmares? I've had that happen before, and I also had a little black creature in the room, but it wasn't
Just-
a bird. It was a Jack Russell Terrier, and then it turned around and it had no face, and I screamed and I
Yucky.
woke myself up.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. You just said that, and I was like, "That's wild." That
You're
has
like, I
everyone
hate
had that kind
that.
of nightmare? You're just in your room, not realizing that you're asleep, and a crazy shadow creature shows up. Chat, what's your crazy shadow creature that you dream about when you don't realize you're dreaming? Let me know in chat.
I once had a vivid. I can't remember if I was just sort of like half awake dreaming or it was a full dream and I woke up. But I was sleeping on a futon in my dad's basement, with looking across the room at the open door that led into the darker part of the basement. And for a moment, nothing happened. And then I imagined just a literal tide of zombies rushing through the door at me, just at like
Yucky.
yeah, that like. Yeah, you know, a tide
That's
of flesh.
Oh, also I'm playing Ophelia, and she doesn't like the dark, so
Well, remember, we're not afraid of being alone in the dark. We're afraid of not being alone in the dark.
die.
How can you kill that which has no life? And Will, speaking of people who probably react the worst to horror situations, Will, please introduce yourself, your character.
Oh. Speaking of, okay, so with the angle that Dahlia's ear was at, it looked like there was like some sort of like goat skulled man in Zoe's door frame, because that's what Dahlia's ear looked like. And I was just like, what the fuck? Oh, that's Dahlia. Oh,
She's been
I
really
have set a
clingy.
tone for tonight, apparently.
I had a heart attack. But hello, my name is Will, also known as Tabletop Rolls on the internet. I'm not excited for the next Magic set because it's too spooky for me. And tonight I'm playing Igara, Gama, and Choco. I don't like horror, yet here I am reading a book that is horror, reading another book series that is technically horror. Apparently the Gideon series is classified as horror.
I go back and forth on whether or not I'd classify it as horror. There are unsettling moments in it, to be sure, but unless you are strictly horrified by relatively clinical descriptions of bodies, on like bodily parts, I don't know if I'd consider it.
I mean, by certain sort of definitions, then a lot of Warhammer novels are horror novels. Anytime like the demons and the warp stuff pop up and they're written by competent authors, they're outright terrifying because they're shit from beyond reality that should not exist.
I mean, I guess if spooky, scary skeletons automatically classify something as horror, then yes, there's quite a bit of that going around. But I don't know if I'd classify it as a horror novel.
I'd almost classify at this point if a skeleton shows up, just an animated skeleton. That's just fantasy. That's not even horror because Rattle Them Bones is not really that scary to me anymore.
It really solidly rides that line between sci-fi and fantasy.
Yeah, I think it has to have some skin on it still to be really scary.
I think it's too busy riding that line to really fall into a third genre.
Yeah, I'm like, how are you walking? You have no tendons. There's nothing holding your bones together.
That's just different schools of necromancy, and they do get into that.
Mhm.
So, if that is your
Oh.
definition, if that's what puts it into horror, then yes, by your definition, it would classify.
I would find skeletons more scary if they were literally just everything from like the tailbone up, sort of just floating off the ground. If they had no legs, and it was just like the spinal column kind of dangling like a little tail and no legs.
You should read Gideon
Skeleton
the Ninth.
tail.
You should do it.
You should read
do
Gideon
it.
the Ninth, Matt. It would.
You will love
Yeah.
Gideon as much as I love Gideon. You, Matthew, will love Gideon Nav. Tell me I'm wrong. I love Gideon Nav. I think the only person in this chat who might love Gideon Nav more than me is Matthew. She's just his archetype.
She?
Yeah, she.
Oh, she.
I mean, there go my preconceptions flying out the window.
Line
Line.
and sinker.
I think I saw an animatic at one point with no context. I'm like,
There we go. Haha, I've gotten away with
But anyway.
answering the question. Continue, Matt.
Oh yeah, you didn't tell us what your serial killer persona would be.
Persona.
The midnight screw.
Matthew, I was talking to Will. You're letting him get away with this.
Oh, yeah.
Look at how smug he's looking.
Sorry, I thought you were talking to me. Everything's about me.
You
My
are the DM.
my serial persona would be, I mean, that's very true, Dork. My serial persona would be some sort of like not Saw like one, but it would be basically I put someone in a room and they have to complete a game, and if they fail, if they die in the game, they will die in real life.
Oh,
That's
you
it.
start killing your players if their character dies at your
Dies.
table.
Yeah,
I'm amazed there hasn't been a direct-to-DVD movie like that yet.
We
Sword
should
Art
do it.
Online.
No.
No, but I mean specifically with a horror bent.
We could. Why don't we do that? Fuck it, let's do that. Hey, internet, dibs. Done.
I don't think you can do
I
that.
don't know if that's how the internet works,
That's
but
how the
I
internet
Nor
will say-
copyrights.
Oh my god. Oh, okay, wait. So we have that. I be the villain in that series. And then you have a different GM who comes in to try to save the players by hijacking the game halfway through. Like a sort of like Evil Dead Ash type of thing. That could be fun.
Groovy? Anyway,
Anyway.
people are here to see us play a non-spooky game, a more adventure game on another planet.
Maybe.
But we'll see.
I don't know. Last session was pretty spooky. Ophelia getting fucking eaten by a wormhole.
I mean, that was kind of abrupt.
And on that note, I'm going to roll the intro.
Stop saying that.
Welcome
You'll
back.
never know what we. You'll never know
Stop
what
trying to
we
get
just
Biggity
talked
back
about.
happen.
Stop saying it.
That's how you killed the joke.
I've said it for years.
You've not been saying it for years.
Anyway, when last we left our adventurous lore speakers on the distant planet of Akatosh. Or Akaton? Akaton. Akatosh is the language, I believe. We had acquired some desert speeders or sand skimmers, what have you, and our lore speakers had set off across the red dunes to try and find the mandibles of fate. the flying ship slash fortress of the king of biting ants, the ancient foe of, almost you could say, of your school. If if they're the enemy of Old Mage Tembe, you're probably your enemy. Um, and his weird weapon that apparently can rip souls out of people. What he's doing with those souls, you don't know. Maybe he's making punch. I don't know. We'll find out. I mean, I know. I've read ahead, but
Punch.
Is he going to use them in alchemical cooking to make it soul food?
Yummy.
and you know what? Well, I'll give you like a B plus on that one. That's
Thank you.
okay. But yeah, you guys are going across this vast kind of desert with a vague general direction in mind, trying to acquire pod racing points, as we've decided to call them.
Nope.
Is it
Ah,
PB points?
When last we left off, checking my little post-it note here, you guys had acquired 4. Yes, thank you, Zoe, for confirming. That was the wrong post-it note. I have too many post-it notes with little tick marks on it. Yes, 4 pod racing points, which unfortunately last time was essentially the second best result you could have gotten. You didn't lose any time on your trip, but you still had to at least engage in 1 round of combat with a worm, which then you're like, you can just leave. Why would we stay for this?
jeez.
It's not like
I love using the "what if I just ran away" in tabletop RPGs. I think it's so funny.
I mean, honestly, you guys have access to very fast speeders. Why wouldn't you just try and run away?
I mean, there is the meta of like, well, my DM did the work to prep this, so I suppose I will
But I didn't.
play nice. But you didn't.
No,
so
I have no
I
attachment to
said,
these
"Fuck
monsters.
that."
They are literally just essentially kind of, ooh, look at these quirky encounters in the desert. I don't think any of them even give you loot. So,
That's the worst. If you're gonna make someone do random encounters, at least give them loot, Paizo.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we had ended the session with you guys attempting, I'm going to double check, it should still be in the log, perception checks to try and actually spot the Mandibles of Fate somewhere on the horizon. Because, as I want to remind you guys, if you can, you are of a level where you have a lot of crazy spells and abilities at your disposal. If you can find a way to just, bypass a lot of distance in traveling with spells or the like, you are absolutely encouraged to do that. You guys have earned these abilities. Not letting you use them in situations that they'd be incredibly helpful in would be dumb. Especially when it's just a wide open kind of thing. Once you get into more plot crucial areas, then the walls tighten a little bit. But also, we are getting near the end of the campaign, so I do want to give you guys chances to use your cool abilities. So, one of the unfortunate things of long form Pathfinder and D&D and role playing games is you get the cooler stuff near the end, but there's less of the game near the end.
Yeah.
So, but I'm going to try and do my best to let you guys spread your cool powered up wings as much as possible. And on that note,
Yeah. In my case, literally.
yes. So you guys have made camp essentially for that night. Quickly, if anyone wants to do anything before you go to bed or in the morning, please let me know. Otherwise, we'll just skip to the next morning and into the next territory.
I'm assuming Ophelia makes no mention of like the crazy back itching or anything like that. Why would she? Why would she? That'd be so silly.
What are you even
she's
talking
gonna
about?
she's gonna gather Floribunda and well, actually, let's see what they're gonna do.
Oh, we're talking about the D3, Ophelia?
Mm-hmm.
I was going to have you roll that at the start of every day.
Oh, I want to check something real quick.
Sure.
Oh, okay. She gathers Floribunda, and they go. Essentially, they stance up and do a little bit of yoga.
Oh.
But it's not like relaxing yoga, if that makes sense. There's a lot of tension in the poses.
That just sounds like improperly done yoga. Because isn't yoga supposed to be like, we're loosening it up, we're getting a workout, feeling in touch with our bodies?
There's not a lot of breath to this yoga, essentially.
Somewhere Kiara is saying, pace yourself.
Avi doesn't want a backseat yoga, but she does want to help.
Add backseat yoga to the phrases I didn't expect to hear tonight board.
Was that on your bingo board? I don't think so.
If it is, please buy me some lotto tickets because you are a prophet.
Yeah, holy shit.
The prophet.
Silly side tangent immediately. You guys know of course, one of the famous prophets in history, Cassandra, who she was cursed not
Yes.
for anyone to believe her. I saw a hilarious mini comic where she weaponized that by saying, tomorrow, Lord Apollo will pleasure a woman in bed. And they're like, oh, Cassandra, that's silly. Lord Apollo has never pleasured anyone in bed. And like Apollo's there going, he cursed her with that, and he deserves it.
Oh my god, that's
Yeah.
funny.
I'm not saying that from like supplementary like comics and like Lore Olympus and shit. Just
No,
the gods
we
are.
all read the story of Daphne. We know how that went.
Yeah.
What an asshole.
The gods are messed up, man.
Well, yes. I love judging the Greek gods. I think it's such a boost for my ego. It's like I would never behave that way.
True. Mm-hmm.
Anyhow, I think I just go to bed. I don't think I have much to do.
Long rest, long rest.
All right, yeah. No one's got anything to do. Everybody gets a full rest. Get all your spells and abilities back up to full HP.
Thank goodness.
And yeah. Early morning. The sunset here is quite something. I think you guys have been like indoors most of the other sunsets, so seeing it out here in the desert is quite something. And it looks different enough. Like you think maybe the atmosphere kind of composition here is different enough that the sunsets just look different. Like not weird, not too different, but like, wow, this would be a possibly once in a lifetime sunset back on Galeria. Here, this might happen, every Tuesday.
Mm.
If they have the same number of days here, if it's farther away from the sun, it will have longer days or more days.
Hey Matt,
What's that?
does that make the mornings Acadons?
Maybe. I don't know. All right, so we are going to begin the day. I'm going to say because a significant amount of time has passed, it's been night. And I imagine the King of Biting Ants probably doesn't sleep. Feel free to give me another perception check to try
Whoa,
and...
ants? Ants don't sleep.
I mean, a horrible, magical, possibly undead spirit possessing a giant amount of ants doesn't sleep, possibly? I don't know.
Now,
Yeah,
how
you're
many
right.
ants is
Oh!
Not Twitter!
Oh, Shazbot. Oh!
I get also nat 20s.
Come on.
What the fuck, guys? Pardon my French.
Or smoking them because we got them, I guess.
All right, I'm going to say, because you guys were a little freaked out by the worm yesterday, you decided to sleep on top of, like, almost like a mesa or something. Like, high above the ground, you found some elevated ground, like solid rock.
Isn't
So,
Mesa?
a mesa, or a mesa.
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 Yeah. So,
Source, I
a
went to
worm,
Mesa Verde High. Not high
Yeah,
school, middle school.
a worm couldn't literally just come up from beneath you and swallow you as you were sleeping. And from up there, you guys are looking out at this beautiful sunset, and you notice something. There's like a black smudge on the sun, or the sunrise, pardon me. There's a black smudge on the sunrise. And you realize as you're kind of like you focus on it, it's a sharp looking kind of shape. Almost like maybe some sort of ship in the sky. And looking at it gives you a bad little itch on your spine. Like all of you. A bad little itch. Please.
Do we think that's the ship?
Yeah,
It's very bright. I can't see anything.
Endurance and
wanna
Darkness
go
raises a
for
little
it?
hand. This is probably a bad time to bring this up, but I am quite nearsighted, so I can't see anything.
That's understandable.
You can't see what?
Whatever you guys are looking at, I cannot
Mhm.
see it. It's
can't
just a
see,
bright
Chef?
smudge over there.
Yeah.
Oh, want me to try to get us up onto it? It's less than 100 miles away.
Okay.
Are we ready?
Roll me a d20 real quick, Avi. Just a flat d20.
We got invisibility?
That's an 8.
Oh my.
You think you will have to travel at least one more day to be within 100 miles.
Well, then it's a good thing I prepped the spell at level 7, which lets me go up to 1,000 miles.
You tricked me!
that
Up to like, how many? Sorry?
was
1,000.
Okay.
And I would walk 1,000 miles,
1,000
and
miles.
I would teleport 1,000
I had
more.
forgotten, actually, Matthew. I
Awesome.
because I can't take credit for bamboozling you in this as much as I would love to. That's just where I had it prepped last time for to get us to Osaibu. So that's where it was prepped this time.
Oh,
And
so
I
it's
took
not
a
even so
second
much.
look at it, and I was like, "Wait, I did prep it at 7th level. We get 1,000 miles."
So it's not that you were prepared for this, it's just you didn't change preparations from a previous thing. It's like, you've never been on time to this meeting in your life. I wasn't actually. I was just incredibly late to the meeting before it.
Woof.
Okay, so important thing to note about this. It is quite a ways away.
Mm-hmm.
And are you going to be trying to teleport onto it? Or are you going to be trying to teleport very close nearby?
I would like to teleport onto it.
Now that
Im-
does bring the question: Are you
Visible?
going to try and aim for kind of a lower deck? Are you going to just try and pop on top of it?
Lower
It's-
deck for
The
sure.
problem with teleporting at this distance sort of is, especially when you're trying to like precise on, one space opposed to another, not just a distance,
Mm-hmm.
you can't see terribly well from this distance unless you guys have some sort of thing that can let you see, or like even just a telescope, or
I mean, I guess if you really wanted me to pinpoint it, which is a little tough because it's a moving target, I could do discern location.
that would certainly help.
And then I would get its exact location. It doesn't say exact coordinates, but it does say including the building, community, and country. Which is pretty close. I think the other thing that we need to remember about teleport is that it's up to myself and up to 4 creatures, so someone needs to like hang out in the bag of holding.
Well, if it's up to 4 of the creatures.
Yeah, because we've got
You, me, Endures in Darkness, Charlotte, Zoe.
and that, well,
Who?
Well, Matthew, how do you rule familiars for the purposes
familiars,
of...
I don't worry about it. I'm not
Okay.
gonna bother. Familiars add, yeah. If I'm not putting them on the board for combat, I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not doing damage.
Okay.
Yeah, and Choco's not with us.
That's right. Then I
Because-
can do teleport.
My druid order does not scale well when you multiclass. Hey, friends, don't take the animal companion druid order if you're going to be multiclassing and not doing it as your innate one, because it does not scale well.
Bag of holding. That's how we're taking our stuff with us.
Um,
I don't know. I don't think that can include the racers, unfortunately. I don't know if our bag of holding is big enough for that.
no,
but-
No, we didn't have to return them.
I mean, you may not have to worry about that.
I don't like the way you said that, Matthew.
Well, so
What have I ever done that makes you not trust me?
Played Among Us with you.
Valid.
I feel like that's being hung above my head for a long time, and really,
You are
only
too
Cooper.
good at lying.
It sounds like we need to do it again. But I will say, in our defense, if we do need to get back, should we be successful, we'll have an airship.
This is true.
You know what I'm going to say, McKenna? I'm going to say, just in terms of aiming, if you want to try and aim this, give me an Arcana check. This will just be a matter of you being able to sort of like... You know how some in video games where when you do something really fast, it's hard, but you can sort of aim a little bit? This will be you trying to like concentrate incredibly hard on the teleport spell so you can, prevent yourselves from teleporting into a wall when you arrive. Because you are trying to go on a moving target.
I was about to say, can I assist? But
Would you like to use a hero point?
Yeah, I think so. There we
Okay.
go. That's a 40. I'll take
Let's
a 46.
Yeah, okay.
No problem.
That will be kind of sufficient. If you want, Ophelia, you can actually assist as well. You can aid. Too.
I would love to.
I'm at -1 to my Arcana, so I'm not going to try to aid.
And I don't know, Endures in Darkness does a little cute little jig to inspire you.
Oh, thank you. I
And
feel
Floribunda
inspired.
dances on his head while he does it.
Oh,
It's like a stacked little veggie dance routine.
Mushroom dance, whatever does
Whatever
it mean?
does it mean? It means you've lived a life of sin.
What?
That's how the song goes.
That's how the song goes, Matt.
That is how the song goes.
I'm not sure how I feel about that. I really like mushrooms. You can actually listen to the sound they make, actually, with certain electronics. They talk to each other. It's kind of ethereal. Anyway, so yeah, all right. Okay, we're gonna move to the Mandibles of Fate map. Oh, boy.
Whoa! Oh my God! Wait, I'm not
Let me
ready.
just put teleport in chat because there may be
I'm
roles
scared.
associated.
There we
with
go.
it.
Oh, this is a big one. Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Okay. Nope. Down. There we go. Okay.
Oh, graphics performance notification.
Now I have to find the right place where you guys are going to go. Okay, I think I found it. 0, 1. Okay.
I'm scared.
Give me a quick second. I just want to double check I'm not putting you guys in absolutely the wrong spot to begin with. These should be labeled properly. Yes, D1. Okay. All right, I need all your tokens. I'm going to drop our
Man, give me a tokens.
Avi. Ba-bam. Oh, we got lighting. Endures in Darkness, who pops out of the bag of holding, I think.
Nope.
So
it's
I
up to
should
4.
warn you, Matt.
Yeah, but there's like you, there's Igora, there's Charlotte, there's Avi, and there's Ophelia. That's 4 people.
It's 4 other creatures.
Oh, 4 other creatures?
Yeah.
So technically
Yes,
5?
it's you. Yeah,
Okay.
technically 5. They should just say that, but it's.
That is weirdly...
We may be. It is. I know I rolled the 46, so theoretically the distance should not be that severe, but there is a non-zero chance of this dropping you like a percentage away from your target.
Well, I'm just going to say you guys teleport, and you're like, you look around, you sort of made it, and then you realize you don't feel anything solid under your feet, and you drop about 5 feet. Because you teleported somehow literally in midair. Possibly in the course of you casting the teleport, the ship dipped a little bit.
I had fly ready to cast on Gamma just in case, but
All
I
right,
don't
let
have
me
Gamma.
double.
someone Gamma's not summoned, but someone.
All right.
Yes. Assuming we're not immediately in combat, I do take the time to quickly summon Gamma.
Yes. Now here's the thing. You guys there was a threshold for the alertness of the ship based on your pod racing points, but because you didn't approach slow as hell over the course of several days, giving more and more opportunities for the ship to someone on the ship to look out and see, hey, what's that coming towards us for the past couple days? You guys managed to avoid all detection. The ship is not on high alert. They're not waiting for you, which was a distinct possibility of it happening. So you guys have essentially perfectly infiltrated the ship.
Fuck yeah.
So,
Obby for the win.
a tubular railing spun from the vibrant green metal surrounds the rear deck of the ship, pulsing with emerald light as it circulates a glowing viscous fluid throughout the ship. The ship has veins, but it also looks very
Say
solid.
that, like that.
Gamma and Endures in Darkness and Agate and Floribunda and any creature that is kind of more tied to strict magical or natural world immediately look very uncomfortable here. Floribunda grows literally kind of pale and she hugs you. This is a unnatural and, dare I say, unholy place. Also, the ground is sticky, like a movie theater that hasn't been cleaned properly.
I don't know anything about that because I have very special wings.
Your wings are now sticky.
Oh,
It's just like
Why is the air sticky?
someone vaporized a horribly sugary drink and just filled the air with it. Oh, the corn syrup. Ugh.
See, this is what happens when people don't go outside to vape.
Someone on the ship is suddenly very offended.
We are outside.
Yeah, apart from a few scattered crates bearing mundane tributes from settlements that you'll imagine that from settlements that were terrorized, the rear deck is empty.
Okay.
There are, it appears to be two kind of entryway passages over here.
What do we do?
Anyone have passwall?
Can
You don't
I-
have
can I-
possible, but I
can I-
do have invisibility sphere.
Okay, then in that case, no gamma.
If we use invisibility sphere, I can use my weird thing that I got to peek around the corners.
What weird thing?
The eyeball staff.
Oh, that's right.
You guys
What
at
was
this
that,
point,
Mark?
I've given up on trying to keep track of what magical bullshit things you have. Surprise me.
This was one of the most recent magical bullshit things that we got.
But I have the attention span of a magpie.
Mm-mm. It's shiny though, so maybe you would have remembered it in some aspect.
Yes, but it's not as shiny as this empty tonic water can on my desk covered in sticky notes.
Ooh, shiny. That's cute.
What a fascinating means of organization. Can you
Well-
elaborate on that?
That is fun. That is
No,
fun. I
so
do like that.
The reason I have those is because, like, several years ago, I think before COVID, for my birthday, I had my extended family over for pizza, and I tried to run them through a game of Pathfinder. And because no one in my family, especially not the parents, had ever touched any sort of game, I color-coded various different things on the sheet. Like, all right, if you guys make an attack, look for the red sticky note on your thing.
Aww.
And eventually, I realized I need to clean up all my game stuff, and I realized these have been used once, they're still sticky, I'm just going to put them on this can on my desk, and so I can reuse them at a later time.
That's
fun.
so cool, Matt.
Yeah.
Just live there. Aw.
All right.
Dope.
So I can invisibility sphere us, but at some point we need to find where they're keeping Old Mage Chitembe.
Yeah, and spring them.
Down the furthest.
And also find a way off this place because I didn't prepare it a second time.
I'm not going to lie, I kind of just assumed that we were going to murk everything on here and take control of the ship.
Or
Are we
maybe you
gonna-
do a Phantom Menace where you just ride a burning ship down through the sky and like, all right, controlled landing.
Just go
I-
full
I'm not
Baldur's
gonna
Gate
lie.
opening.
I was expecting some sort of Avi, I'm the captain now moment. And I was kind of
I am
looking
the
forward
captain
to
now.
it.
Now the real question is,
Look at me! I am the captain now!
being inviting ants, I don't even know who you are. I'm also. What the real question is: will you get to the control panel, or where are you going to try and get the nice, cool sword off the Cambion before the timer runs out?
We have a
Hmm.
free
Try to get
pass.
the mage. All right,
Sorry.
let's
Command, drop your
maybe-
sword. Damn it.
Let's maybe look around the corner to see if there's even anyone here yet. Can I maybe roll a perception check?
Here's the thing. Those, okay, the AP did this in themselves based on the lighting. Those doors are not sealed.
Oh.
I'm gonna double check. Yep, there is no door there, so you guys can just look around the corner. The AP did
By
this
the-
to themselves.
By the way, are you guys
Mhm.
seeing things on the map? Because I am not on the map.
Oh, sorry, Ophelia, I
Scroll
forgot.
down.
No, Ophelia's not on the
no, she's
map.
not on the map.
Sorry, I thought I had grabbed
Or-
everyone.
That's okay.
I mean, if we want some chaos, you guys, I could summon a tardigrade swarm.
I got some. Tardigrade!
A
Really? That's
tardigrade?
absolutely awesome.
How combat effective are those?
They are
Wait,
a
that's
CR12
amazing.
creature.
What?
Wow.
My world is shattered.
Wow. That's fun.
Or we can just sneak by them.
So we're staying together invisible, correct? That's the plan.
Well, here, have you cast Invisibility Sphere?
Not yet.
All right, so I'm gonna need, getting close to the doors
Oh,
that are
no.
open,
Nope.
I'm gonna need a group stealth check from y'all.
No, I'm staying the fuck back, thank you. I'm not messing this up for everyone.
Okay,
And I will
Ophelia
do my
and or Avi
own-
Avi.
Itty bitty little stealth check. It's gonna
Beady
go
beady
great.
bum
That's
bum.
a 34. I'll take a 34.
Oh, beady beady bum bum. Wait, Avi, what are you doing? What? I'm gonna hero point it. Whoa.
Oh my God. Hey, there we go.
Ophelia has trained in the ways of
It was a bit. It was a bit, and it was funny.
Avi Avi's teacher
Ninjutsu.
Shush has grown so effective.
Now, remind me, well, stealth checks are against things
Perception.
passive perception.
their perception DC. There's no passive percepption in Pathfinder 2e, so
Okay,
it's
good.
a perception check plus 10.
So, Avi Avi, I'll just let you know, you passed by 3.
Yay! A pass is a pass.
It is. All right, so you look around, and
Did I pass?
yes, you totally passed. You surprised Avi Avi, and her lower stealth than you is a result of you being able to walk right behind her without her noticing, and her turning around to get you to come to follow her, and discovering that you're there already, and almost squeaking out like the flying mouse she is. I mean, am I wrong?
How dare you? How
Who are you
dare
talking to?
You, God, you!
I'm talking to the non-diegetic voice that follows us around.
Avi, stop talking to God. We're trying to be quiet.
Why do I keep picturing myself like I don't exist from the waist down? I'm like in a bank of clouds and I'm just hovering over you
Like the
guys.
Monty Python god.
Oh, stop groveling if I can't stand its groveling. It's like those miserable psalms. They're so depressing. So knock it
Right,
off.
God, what do we see? What do we see?
You see about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 beings in this room. Actually, you know what? Give me a perception check real quick. Just because you got to the door. Actually, Ophelia,
24.
you're using the eye staff thing?
I could use the eye staff thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna peek it.
But yeah, you guys rolled really well with the perception to begin with. You see about 9 bipedal creatures in the room. They seem to be. You have not seen these guys. You had a chance to encounter beings like this, but you skipped the encounter. They seem to be large, human-sized, almost kind of like ant people. They don't wear any armor or any clothes necessarily, and they have like 2 arms and a torso and a head, but they have sort of like an ant's back body. I'm just going to say you guys heard about these in town, just very, very vaguely. These are Formians.
Matt, question for you.
Yes.
Are we on the top deck or are we below decks right now?
You guys are sort of on a lower deck. It almost seems like this is a kind of docking deck where people like would fly small crafts in with cargo and the like. That's why there's all these crates in here. Little hangar bay.
And what is this ship made out of? Is it
It seems to be a
organic or
weird
metal?
It seems to be a weird combination of like weird kind of living stuff and metal. I should note, just because it very specifically says this, and I don't want you guys to waste time, the ship is virtually indestructible. You're not going to blow up the ship and avoid having to fight the end boss.
Okay, so
Um,
I can't. So I hypothetically could not summon a metal elemental that can eat metal to basically eat a hole for us to like crawl through up a deck.
um, I would make you roll for parts of it, but I will say this though, Will. It should be noted that while this ship is, it's a big ship, it's much bigger than the little speeders you guys were running around. It is not that big. And it's very likely if you go and just try and boss rush the boss, he will not play fair and will totally summon the entirety of the ship to fight you.
So like the ultimate fled encounter if we just don't fight things the way that the AP intended us to.
Very possibly you could. There are things I can't tell you, but
Yes.
this isn't just going to be like a series of encounters that you just have to fight. There are things on this ship that will change the dynamic of what's happening in a couple different ways. Um, but I would not recommend trying to skip right to the boss.
I was just curious.
Good.
It's
Skip to
it,
Jatembe.
I am absolutely encouraging these kinds of outside the box thinkings. There are going to be some encounters here that might require some lateral thinking. But
Well, why don't we just sneak past these 9 since they look like kind of mooks anyway?
there are like two kinds of guys in this room. There are what appear to be kind of like almost identical bunches of guys that look, I'm not going to say basic. They're not wearing Uggs and drinking PSLs. Um, I yeah, but there's like 3 out of the 9 that look slightly different. They seem to have kind of more markings on them. They look a little tougher.
Oh, this motherfucker's a Solarian.
I'm not going to tell you the name
A
because the
what?
name is more concerning.
Solarian's a Starfinder class, though, that creates energy weapons from the universe.
A what?
Don't worry about it.
We don't know what
So
that is.
what do you guys? I should also note an important detail is that there are stairs leading up here.
Mm-hmm.
I think these are also supposed to be stairs leading up, but there's also appears to be other doors leading into a section farther back on this deck. Yeah. The sprawling main deck features several doorways and hatches, as well as a variety of mechanical pulleys and platforms that control the ship's enormous sails.
I would like to say, if we come back and have like a quick whispered conversation, that we are probably going to need to clear this ship out at some point anyway.
Oh, also, just because you rolled a 44 on perception, one other little detail that kind of you notice something's a little off about the majority of the guys, the non-scary looking ones. They seem to be sort of walking around very just like kind of not like brain dead zombies or anything, but there's a listlessness to their posture and stuff. While the 3 other guys, or is it 3? No, 2.
Yeah.
No, 3. They seem much more alert and seem to be directing the other ones.
Oh, they are the biting ants.
Do I get the impression that they're being controlled?
You get they're very obviously being directed, but they just seem like they don't seem to have much in the way of initiative or like awareness. it's hard to tell without like doing any sort of like magical senses or anything.
You could say they're
Um,
drones.
it's very possible. I don't want to make, stereotypes about insect-related ancestries, but it does seem like they're just sort of like they're dull kind of looking in a way. Their expressions are just like there's a vitality that is lacking from them.
Hmm.
If you
Well,
want, you could give me some sort of knowledge check, or if you want to try and cast detect magic, if you want to risk that.
I don't want to risk that. I'll just do a little occultism. That's a 38. That's not bad.
Occultism.
occultism check
You said some
check-
kind of
for-
knowledge check.
for
Yes.
checking these guys out.
If Arcana would have been better,
I would have
the-
actually said Arcana instead.
then it's still a 38 because it's the same modifier for me.
You are looking at these guys, and you're, for some reason, something about there's something that's tickling that sort of magical sixth sense that you've, accumulated over many years of working as a magic teacher. There's an instinct you have at this point for magical effects, and for whatever reason, as you look at these guys and their kind of off behavior, your eyes slide to the pulsing conduits of like weird energized green fluid through the walls. And you get the feeling these things serve a purpose beyond being creepy.
Oh, are there some in this room with us?
They're everywhere. They are like weird veins in the walls. Some of them like go into the walls and reemerge. They're like weird veins that have been somehow woven throughout the metal of the hull.
Oh, can I look at them look at them?
Yeah, if you want to
Closer.
give me a perception check, if you want to try and analyze them magically, you can give me an arcana. If you want to just detect magic.
Fair
Or-
warning, touching those things may give away our position.
I mean, you look
That's-
down,
that's
some of them are in
my
the, there's some of them are a
hypothesis.
little bit in the floor.
Yeah.
Not that you have to
That's-
worry about that.
I appeared on one of them, so
I'm gonna touch it. Just gonna like what
I less meant touching it and more meant like
interact.
cutting it open to see what's inside, like that sort of thing.
Let's drink it. Slurp that glowing Mountain Dew up.
Like getting a
yummy,
biopsy.
yummy.
Arcana. Now, did you say you wanted to like give it a little touch?
I don't want to touch it. I just want to
Okay.
like look at it.
You examine it, and you kind of you employ the same sort of thing that Avi did, where you've got some magical kind of instincts at this point. You've been teaching magic of sort of, and very specifically you, who has studied the magic of sound and performance and how to project your magic to affect things around you. There's something about this that is weirdly familiar, but in a very twisted, kind of sick way, and you get the impression that there's almost some sort of like low-level field emanating from these things. Like there's an emanation here. And it doesn't feel good to you. It almost like the more you concentrate on it, the more your senses and your awareness of your surroundings gets a little dull. But obviously this seems like it's not necessarily tuned to affect you directly. It's only giving you this effect because you're really concentrating on it. Like sticking your head into a room filled with weird smoke.
Oh, I don't like that. Ooh. You know when you like find yourself like not really in control and you start to like fight it. You know, like when you have a headache or something and you take, well, not specifically a headache. I'm talking about like taking NyQuil. I'm like, yeah, this will make me feel better. I need to go to sleep, but also at the same time, like, I don't want to go to sleep. I don't want to go to sleep.
And this is only for your benefit, Ophelia, because obviously no one else would see this. You get the weirdest sensation, almost like you have the weird, sometimes you have those weird like self-destructive urges, like, oh, I'm going to touch the stove or something. You almost feel like you're leaning into the effect a little bit, and then you feel like, for the briefest moment, two sets of different hands sort of just gently pull you back on your shoulders. And you kind of like step back from the effect.
Ooh, cool. Awesome. Gonna don't touch that.
Yeah. So yeah, bad vibes all around. Maybe some weird stuff going on with the workers. No one's having a good time here.
Further inquiry about this room here.
Yes.
Do these stairs lead up to some sort of like catwalk, or is it a fully new floor?
It's a little hard to tell. You don't see, excuse me, any daylight coming down the stairs. So you get the impression, hold on, let me just check the description for the zone that the little stairway leads into. Give me a second. Yeah, you don't get the impression that it leads up to an open area.
Okay, so there's just ceiling there. There's not like additional walkways and
You think it leads up to another room.
okay.
Also, it should note that there is sort of just like a general background hum. If you guys have ever watched Star Trek, and whenever they go down to engineering, there's always sort of that background engine noise. It can be very soothing. You do get the sense that this might help with just stealth checks around here, because these ship's not on high alert, and things you are doing are just going to be masked by this general background sound.
Gotcha. Okay. So here's the situation. There's about 9 guys in there. Some of them look like they're in charge, and some of them look like they're very much not in charge. And there is stairs leading up to a room up above. There's a part of me that thinks it might be worth going up there undetected just to see what's up there. We might learn more information about how to take care of these guys, or information about where Old Meech Chitembe is. Because if we were able to ascertain either of those things before engaging with these guys, I think that would be ideal. So
I
you
will do my
wanna-
best to be stealthy, but Avi, I suck at it.
Well, we'll be invisible. So
And I'm just giving you that warning. Like, I will do my best. I am down to clown, so to speak. But as we know, I am about as stealthy as a rock.
A soft
Well,
rock.
About about
they are, even if
ants.
you make some noise.
A bunch of ants together makes the king of biting ants, probably question mark. I don't know. That's kind of what it sounds like to me.
I'll let you know, just from all the stories you've heard, any sort of like ants that may have made up the king of biting ants were normal sized ants. He was not like this weird hive mind thing. He was a single individual, very powerful, but he wasn't like, I exist in many bodies, I am the will. No.
Yes.
That'd be
It's-
kind of sick though.
Yeah. One day I'll do an encounter like that.
Let's give the old invisibility sphere a try. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But at least we've given it the chance it has, and I have it prepped anyway. So
Okay.
Okay.
Let's go look for Old Mage Jitembe.
Let's go gambling.
So let's just try to move
Aw,
just
damn
right
it.
to this set of stairs here, and up them.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming we're all gonna need stealth checks.
Yes.
So you said no gamma?
No, because
No gamma yet.
No
Gamma's
bitches?
no maidens. Gamma, we are gammaless.
Maidenless behavior.
Gammaless? So does Endures fit with us?
Yep.
You
It's
could,
technically-
like, if you guys wanted to prevent him from having to take a stealth check, you could let him dangle with his head out of the bag of holding. That way he wouldn't actually be walking, so he wouldn't, risk kicking a bucket.
Ooh, can we have Charlotte become little? Little spiderling?
I feel like so here's the thing. If I pop Charlotte's character sheet open, because I have that power. Charlotte is more stealthy than me. So Charlotte, if it's a group stealth check, rolling is probably for the best. I'm going to roll Charlotte's stealth first.
All right, you're gonna handle Charlotte then.
Yeah, I'll take care of it. A 41 for Charlotte,
Okay.
a 7 for Igora.
I mean, we could put Igor in the bag of holding.
It's a little late for that now.
And
Another
but-
nat 20.
Oh my goodness
Nice.
gracious! All right,
Holy
I'm gonna roll
crap.
Endures.
Oh, yay.
Actually, Endures is trained in stealth, and he's actually got. Wow, he's got good dex actually. Oh yeah, because that's the only way he gets armor. 35. Okay.
It's not
Yeah.
a 7.
Charlotte, Ophelia,
It's
35, and what did Aviavi 30? You know what? A combination of the invisibility sphere, the background noise, the nat 20. I'm gonna say, you guys don't go entirely undetected. I'm just gonna tell them the names so I can tell you the Formarian Mage Slayers.
Hmm.
Do kind of like look around, but it's
Must have
like
been
in
the
stealth
wind.
games where you only have like the one dot. You haven't been detected, but they are
Mm.
alert. They're like, what was that? I heard
Must
something
have
like a
been the
frog stepping on its own foot accidentally.
Oh, shit.
it's just
Squelching.
because I think it's because
Slap, slap.
I think it's
slap.
because when Igora walks, like their feet stick to the ground a little bit, just because they have that natural frog mucus.
Well, I also think you walking is like someone walking around in like flippers.
It's
So it's
it's
kind of like a flap.
especially on this extra sticky floor. He's probably sticking extra. Sticky,
No, I just
icky.
have to. I
Well,
have to get my
anyway,
mucus
we've-
glands in overdrive.
Cool.
Oh,
can I-
look. Oh, never mind. There's not more people up there. I just wanted
I was
be
gonna
able to
say, can I
facilitate.
pop the staff up the stairs to look and see what's up there?
If you guys want to stay here for a second and not proceed immediately out of the room.
Oh, let's get out of the room.
Let's move.
Let's just get out of the room.
go.
Yeah.
We're going. Hooray!
All right. I'm assuming while going up the stairs, you guys are maintaining distance from the invisibility sphere. All right, so I'm gonna let Avi describe this as you guys pop up the stairs.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Oh, no.
I'm gonna need another immediate stealth check.
We've fought these things before.
I'm not sure you have actually.
Another 30.
Oh.
No, in League
Oh,
of Amazing
God.
Adventures. I remember this horrible
Yeah,
token.
you fought this thing in League.
Wow, I don't remember that. Also, there are some
better.
campaign specific foes here. That's why they don't have icons. They're just Crimson Acolytes. They look like cultists. They look like cultists in red robes.
I did.
You know,
I
you
did
know-
better than normal.
Igor looks at these guys and
Look at
instantly
worse
like,
than
oh,
normal.
that's a cultist. I know what I'm talking about. That's a cultist.
That's a cultist.
That's a cultist. That's a cultist.
Cultist. That's a ooh a cult. Ooh,
That
a
guy's
cultist.
trying too hard.
Ooh, a cultist kill. Ooh, a cultist kill. Ooh, a cultist.
Um,
I am-
Ikra, are we not trying to be quiet at
I
this
am.
point?
I am.
Hold on a sec. I have to roll for Endures in Darkness.
I understand that
Okay.
cultists are your special interest, but you gotta shh.
It's less special interest and more. I was one of them.
All right, give me a quick second here. There's a surprising amount of text for this area. I'll read the block text real quick. A variety of strange arcane devices line the curved walls of this chamber. Observation windows on sealed vats of bubbling liquid reveal horrifically misshapen humanoids within. These and the other eerie instruments demonstrate a tableau of twisted experimentation guided by a nightmarish intellect.
So Matt, you may want to just check the stat blocks for those eye guys
Yeah.
because I'm
Doing that right now.
70% sure they have true sight.
I could have a lot of eyeballs. Hear me out. What if they didn't have true sight?
here's the thing. They have actually a lot of interesting effects, like they have telepathy, they have dark vision, they see 360 degrees around, they can detach eyeballs and let them go off and look at stuff. They don't have true sight.
Oh, I must have
Wow.
added it to them.
Yay! No true
Yay!
sight.
And they actually have a lower perception than the guys in the other room. Let me just look at all of you and try and get the invisibility
Added
and the
back.
engine room helps a lot. Also helps that these guys specifically in the AP are very absorbed in their work. The two big guys at least. And let me check the Crimson Acolytes.
Oh God, what are they doing?
Oh, Crimson Acolytes, you guys are really not perceptive. Goodness gracious. And they do not have any special sights because they are just
People.
decently high level, but just cultists. A couple of them like look up at the sound, but because engine sound, sphere of visibility, none of you critically failed or anything. They are now alert, but they are not aware that anything is here. But they're not going to be caught completely by surprise if you guys launch into a fight right now. And these two big things seem like, oh, yes, well, if I alter the composition of this calculation here, I'm talking with my eyes somehow.
All right.
Ooh, if I
Y'all
extract
get
their
a
brain matter
message?
here,
What are they doing?
this
What
is
is
some.
the work that they are absorbed in?
They are doing something to organic matter floating in tasks. They are the stereotypical kind of evil scientists working on some test subjects. It's hard to tell. I won't say they have little clipboards in their hands or anything. Yes. But this is a laboratory, it seems, possibly a little library. There appear to be some books or tomes or scrolls or digital devices perhaps scattered about. You think there might be something to learn here if you had time to study the materials in the room.
But is it something useful to us is the question.
I mean, there's stuff in here you don't necessarily understand. You don't know what exactly they're doing. Give me an Arcana or just a straight intelligence check.
37 Arcana?
37. You know that there is a lot going on in this ship so far that you either don't understand or have the barest understanding of, like the weird green fluids and stuff. And you feel like just looking around here, things in this room would be able, if you had time to actually sit down and study them, might give you answers to some of the stuff going on this ship and possibly what the King of Biting Ants has in store. This is a laboratory on his ship. So this isn't like, a base that he just kind of pops in every month. This is important enough that he carries this laboratory with him. So this might be important.
All right, gang, we need to make a fast decision. There is a door over here, a door over here, and a door over here.
And these are the
Hold on,
first
what was?
sealed doors you've noticed so
say,
far.
I say go south, but they are sealed doors.
So make a distraction to the north so that we can go south.
Also, everyone give me a quick perception check, actually, speaking of the doors.
37 again.
37. Anyone else? 29,
29.
35. I suppose I should roll for Endures in Darkness, too.
That's
Give me
two
a second.
29s in a row for me.
44 from
Endures in Darkness, like, tugs on your sleeve, and he points.
Sorry for Charlotte.
And the one thing that distinguishes this door from the doors over there, it looks to be made of slightly sterner stuff. Possibly the kind of door you would have on a room where you might keep someone you don't want getting out.
Okay.
I'm trying to go back in my notes and remember exactly what people said. It's supposed to be a magical cell that Jatembe is in. They said
Keep in mind,
living-
it's not like this is the cell door. This is a door potentially to a room that's more secure.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, here's
It's
Well,
not
let's
bars that you can see
collectively-
like an old man going, "Arr," clink with his little tin cup. Damn, sheriff, let me out. Clink,
Yeah.
clink, clink.
Let's
get-
collectively move over here then.
okay.
As we'll probably move like along the wall.
To the south?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Stay behind.
Like all the way this way and then over
Around.
here.
I feel like because you guys are now moving through this new space, I will need another
Stealth check.
stealth check. And I will say it's probably been about maybe 2 minutes of the sphere.
God, mother. I've rolled 3 29s in a row.
That is pretty
That's
fun.
3 threes.
Not 20 from Ikura right here.
Ooh,
Let's go.
22.
Hell yeah! Hell yeah!
That's actually on
22.
that's on the higher end for me.
Yeah.
24?
Very nice.
You guys are skirting along the edge, but because you're getting a lot of bonuses, and that invisibility sphere helps a lot. And also, Igra's feet have dried out a little bit, so they're not sticking as much.
Okay.
That's why I'm
I'm
getting
assuming
better
this
stealth
door
rolls.
has some pretty severe locks on it.
Unfortunately, it does look like this is a door that is designed not to be easily to be thrown open. It's got like one of those little wheels on it. And not only do you think that will be very obvious that a wheel suddenly starts turning, you also, just looking at this thing, you think it's going to make a noise, like... So it will be incredibly obvious if this door starts open.
I'm assuming the other doors in this room are like
The
this.
bane of all invisible characters, a closed door.
Yeah.
What if, hear me out, I cast Ghost Sound on the other side of the room of like a beaker shattering or one of those doors slamming open? Ghost Sound.
You know what I would say? Oh, sorry. No, go ahead, Ophelia.
We could also do Ghost Sound with Unseen Servant at the same time so that it's more of a racket.
Yes.
Things actually moving and things
Yes.
not, and things sounding like they're moving more than
Love.
just one
You know what?
thing.
I'm liking this comboing.
I
Let me
love
check
playing
if-
games with people so much smarter than me.
There's some creativity going on here. Let me just check if Endures in Darkness has anything he can contribute to this.
Oh heck yeah.
Like if he could just summon a very small, low-level animal that could just run amok in the other side of the room and then poof out of existence like 30 seconds later.
Charlotte also has ghost sounds.
Mm-hmm.
Oh hell yeah.
Oh hell, Charlotte has telekinetic push. Oh, that could be fun.
I do also have telekinetic maneuver.
So, I'm going to say this. Originally, I would say that the difficulty level of opening this door without it being noticed, if you did nothing, would be impossible. Because it would be a squeaky, noisy, unoiled door, and it would be obvious that a wheel is turning. Now, with Ghost Sound, Unseen Servant, Dancing Lights from Endures in Darkness, if anyone else wants to add some extra peanut butter and jam to this sandwich, some extra icing on this cupcake, I will turn this into possible with a sleight of hand check, thievery check. If anyone wants to try doing
I can do a
that.
thievery check.
Aw, these little hands.
Yeah. So I will pop off those ghost sounds and I will.
Now, for
Pop off, queen.
my own edification here, what ghost sound are you making? Is it the sound of beakers breaking? Is it a pig snorting? I don't know. What are we talking about?
I think that does in part depend on what is being conjured by Endures, if anything.
Endures is actually going to, because he's a druid, he is going to create dancing lights in the form of kind of almost cartoonishly large bumblebees made of light that just sort of fly through the air. Dancing lights doesn't have any sound, but it'll be very obvious because they're dancing lights. They're bright, and this room isn't the most well lit. It's kind of like a creepy, partially lit laboratory. So these dancing lights will be very obvious, and they will automatically draw everyone's attention to the far side of the room.
I think because Ghost Sounds is a cantrip, I am going to cast it thrice in very quick succession, or possibly with Charlotte's help.
Mhm.
and have the sound of the door on the opposite wall creaking open, the sound of something vital breaking, and then the sound of that door slamming shut again to make it maybe seem like someone ran in, broke something, and dipped. And
I
maybe
like it.
something,
I like
whatever
it.
they broke, released these magic bees. That's the story. And then maybe the magic bees are the magic. That's the unseen servant running
They're,
around.
they're
I
also
think yeah.
the magic bees are also going to do bees communicate by dancing. The bees are
Yes.
going to wiggle their little comically cartoony stingered butts in the bee language of saying "fuck you, I'm a distraction." But it's just going to look like they're wiggling their asses at these guys.
So I think that's the storyline that I have crafted for these
Okay, so
Oogie Boogie
you're fanning the
bastards.
hammer with the ghost sound like a revolver.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
do you, Ophelia, were you going to do like a telekinetic thing or an unseen servant?
Yeah, so the unseen servant is gonna go over there. So if Avi is doing the ghost sound, like let's say on the left side of the room, the unseen servant will do something on the right side of the room, kind of opposite.
Okay.
Actually take one of the beakers and slam it to the ground. And were there two doors up towards the
There
So yeah,
is-
like if I'm
yeah,
doing
there's
something
a
here,
big
they're
double
doing something over
door.
here.
And a smaller door.
and they'll go for the other door.
Okay. Igra, do you have any fun little things you want to add on this? Or
I literally have nothing I can do here. I
okay.
have blowhorn,
Okay.
but that will not
Can you
help
put that on the
us.
other end of the room?
No.
No,
Okay.
because it'll
Then yeah.
be
Yeah,
from
all right.
him.
So this is all going to happen
Right.
simultaneously, I imagine. Who's going to
I'm doing the thievery check. If anyone wants to pop me a guidance, now would be the time.
Endures in Darkness will give you a guidance with one hand while he does the. Because you are firing off 3 cantrips, I'm going to say he can do a guidance and a dancing lights at the same time.
That'll
Does
be a
Charlotte have anything?
37. You know what? I'm gonna steal that floating hero point. I only rolled
Do
a
it.
5.
Cleanse. Abby cleanse. Oh,
Okay.
39.
Well, I'll take a
39.
39.
And now I'm going to roll a perception. Now, here's the thing. 2 of these guys are very close to you. So,
Should they have not moved towards the sound
Well,
at all?
are you waiting to see if they move before you do the thievery check?
I think I would have to by virtue of having done the 3 cantrips in a row and then
Alright.
check.
I'm gonna say 1 round of like stuff happens before you like 6 seconds or something. So yeah, I'll say that they'll move over there. One of them, who looks like he isn't of any higher rank but is more bossy, hears the sounds, sees the little dancing lights, and says to one of the other guys, "Check on the queen." And guy runs to this door, opens it, pokes his head in. You can't see what he's looking at. These 2 guys over here, the eye guys barely look up from whatever they're working on, just kind of look disdainfully at the cultists like, what kind of shit show are you running, guys, here? We are trying to work. I am going to roll perception checks for just the 2 guys who are still sort of closer to you than the other ones. That is the wrong stats, so Acolyte. All right, first one, 25. 31.
39 is what you were looking for.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good thievery. Even with all the thing going on. So you guys have a brief, like, 12-second window where you get this door open and no one is looking at you.
And also close it behind us.
Yes. So you guys just, like, book it into the room?
I think I'm going to try to close it as quietly as I can. With all
All
my
right.
teeny tiny strength.
I'm
I
gonna move you
probably
guys
can't
into
slam
the
it too
room.
hard, even if I wanted to.
And then I'm going to say we close the door. So, I need to describe some things in this room.
Oh,
Give me a
God.
second.
Oh.
No, it's probably good. I mean, it's probably...
I'm so nervous.
All right. Several cells line the port and starboard walls of this large room. Some of the cells are sealed with bars of iron, others with veils of magical force. Centered in the forward wall, a cell with glistening silver and black metal bars is shrouded by rainbow-colored layers of magic. An old man, his legs crossed and his hands relaxed on his lap, rests within the cell in a meditative pose. Um, you guys instantly know from paintings, murals, decorative rugs, banners you've seen all around the Magambia.
Holy
This
shit.
is Old Mage Jatembe.
Wow.
Yeah. A closer inspection through the magical windows notes that the man in the brig appears almost dead. He gives few indications of breathing, a pulse, or any sign of life. Yeah. So, he is beyond this, like, rainbow sort of barrier here.
That is
Down the sphere then.
You want to get a little closer and take a look?
Yeah.
maybe don't touch it though.
No.
I'm going to say, actually, in a funny way, Igra, you say that out loud, don't touch it, and a calm, kind of almost casual voice next to you says, that is very good advice. And you guys turn, and like a ghost, Old Mage Jatembe is standing next to Igra, his hands folded behind his back, kind of just casually looking at himself beyond the barrier.
Ah, fuck, we're
Are
going
you
to get Doc's
dead?
pay.
Why waste time trying to talk to an old, tired body, eh? He's not here for you. He's here to keep the ants complacent. And he just kind of smiles. Anyone who wants to give me an occultism or arcana check?
Absolutely.
This is an astral projection if I ever saw one.
That's a 40 and a 47 from Ophelia.
You guys think that this is a spiritual manifestation, which is different from a ghost. He's still alive. He's just like used magic and his own like mental training to like essentially project his mind and part of his life force outside of his body, and apparently outside of his cell. And he looks not particularly distressed. He looks quite happy to see you guys. He's got kind of like an infectious smile. So, what brings Magambians to the Mandibles of Fate?
That's such a silly question. You know we're here for you, man.
Oh, I'm a bit chagrined that it is necessary at all, but I can't say I am not glad to see you.
Aw, thanks. How do we get you out of here?
Well, first, if you'll indulge me, I feel like maybe a little bit of sharing of information is in order. So he just sort of like asks you guys to fill him in on everything you may have learned up to this point.
So I'm Avi Avi, and I joined the School of the Magambia. Oh, that would have been what, a year
Avi,
and a half
Avi,
ago?
Avi,
Now I'm a
Avi.
teacher. What?
First
What?
pertinent,
What?
first immediately pertinent information. We can have a catch up tea time after. First immediate information
Well,
about the ship.
he actually raises a hand. Worry not, young heroes. Old I may be, and in the heart of my enemy's power I stand, but I've had plenty of time to perfect the diversion of his many thousand prying eyes. The king of biting ants may think this place is my prison, but it's been my sanctuary. He and his minions will not interrupt us. Tell me your stories, and I will listen.
Ah, that's so cool. Thank you.
Yeah, it literally says.
You know what? Fair play. No,
It-
I'm
it-
not.
It literally says, give each player an opportunity to recount their character's adventures up to this point.
Oh shit, okay.
The heroes stand in the
Avi,
presence of the
Avi.
most important person in the history of the Magambia, but this shouldn't diminish their own accomplishments.
Aw,
Most
that's
important.
so sweet.
So far.
Yes.
Um,
Bobby gives him like such a thorough play-by-play of literally everything, leaves nothing out. Not Kiara, not Mercedes, not none of it. She's just so tickled by how tickled he is to have them.
well, that sounds very interesting, but I'll tell you this, I'm absolutely not going to be able to help you with that probably at the end, because that's outside the confines of the AP, and he looks at the camera.
What's an AP?
Great. So
Um,
Old Mage Chitembe is just Deadpool.
I mean, with
Oh my
less
God.
murder, yes. He does find it very, you guys like tell him like everything that's been going on, the reason you've come here, right? So he does find the everything you tell him about the Lebane and that Corriday, stole the egg thing that's caused all those problems and stuff, and finds that he finds that interesting. He actually pauses and kind of strokes his chin. Um, Now, this is going to be one of those things where he has some pre-written answers to questions. Off the top of your minds, do you have any very specific questions for him? Oh,
You're muted.
Didn't hear that make
How,
sense.
how do we get you out of here?
Ba, 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 ba.
Or what's up with the cell that's shiny cell?
Can you leave? The question. I am a prisoner by choice. While the old bug thinks I am in his sight, I have the freedom to foil him in ways he does not suspect. Sometimes the best invisibility is to be wholly and persistently visible. It takes effort to remove and then rebuild the wards encaging my physical form, but I have left from time to time, always making sure to return before my old foe knows. Otherwise, he will conceal his work from me, and I will not be able to foil his plans.
What is he working on?
His plans?
What is the King of Biting Ants planning? The same as he has always planned. Domination, cruelty, control, making sure everyone wears red robes and stuff, He is nothing if not tenacious, and each time he is slain, he finds a way to come back, like all great foes. His focus is extraordinary, and for many long years he's been working single-mindedly to develop a weapon to convert the people of the Moagi Expanse, starting with the Megami, because he is nothing if not petty, into his undead slaves. Akaton is his refuge, and he views its people as little more than test subjects. I work to foil his depredations upon them not just for their own sakes, but to delay his plans as best I'm able.
Not just an extraction mission. We have to kill this guy.
Yeah. Any other pertinent info?
Okay. What is this weapon? He calls it a Soul Shredder Cannon, an awful weapon that can rip the soul from a living target and store its wrecked fragments, combining them all together with other victims to transform the host into an undead spirit known as a Nemaheth. The determined old bug has been toiling for decades on enhancing the weapon so that it can be used on crowds rather than individuals, allowing it to destroy a community and create an enslaved Nemaheth with a single shot. But I have been opposing this progress from within this very ship all along. I thought he didn't suspect my interference, but a short time ago he recognized my influence and worked around it in ways I find harder to deflect. In short, he can complete his plans from many angles while I can only delay him from a few, and his progress is now continuing faster than I can foil him. If he's not stopped soon, he'll complete his weapon, and then I fear the danger he poses will increase 100-fold.
It could be useful to have that completed.
Yeah, can't you just kill the King of Biting Ants? I could not completely kill him ages ago, and he's better prepared for my tricks now. I again tried to stop him a couple 100 years ago when I first learned of his plans, but he was ready for me. I let him think he had defeated and captured me, but it was not far off from the truth. I took away some of his power then, but he said time to recover much of it. I worry that some aspect of him, some contingency, remains in place on Galarian. Without knowing fully what that contingency is, his defeat is temporary. He might scuttle into the shadows elsewhere to advance his plans without my knowledge or disruption. I can delay him here, now, but not forever. So I'm glad that you have come to do what I cannot.
We'll get tenure after this, right? Right. All right.
Now, he asks for you guys to give as much details about this egg you told him about. And he looks thoughtful, and his smile kind of goes away for a moment as he kind of goes quiet and thinks. And then he mentions that he suspects that this egg might be the key to the King of Biting Ants' rebirth if he's defeated here. But
Oh, that's
I
one.
suspect the artifact is nothing more than it appears the egg of a particularly large ant, but it likely holds something of an echo, a fragment of his multipital mind, I can't even read that word, woven into a cocoon of sorts. We should deal with this item once the king is destroyed here to ensure my old fellow's wickedness is ended for good. That particular challenge lies before us, and it's a world away. We can face it once the pressing matter work here is done.
E.g. Book 6.
Yeah. Can the king inviting ants be truly destroyed? Of course, all that lives can die. The old bug is no exception. He can die and be made to stay that way, but it's a harder task than most. Every single ant that makes up his body can carry his intellect forward. So if he's defeated, take care not to let a single one escape. Consider, it very makes a point here of ways you guys should consider ways to overcome his discorporate ability. So maybe you guys had the right of it before with your theorizing about AoE spells. He also points out there might be something in the laboratory, and Old Mage Atembe would delight in the irony of using something from his own laboratory against him. He does tell you where the King of Biting Ants is, too. When he's not here taunting my body or in the laboratory growing frustrated, he spends his time on the bridge. I suspect he's there now, cowering behind his wards. Actually, technically the bridge is that way, not up, which is weird. How can we access the bridge? The old bug is nothing if not persistent in how he protects his most precious of places. You could simply use magic to remove the wards, but that will take time, luck, and skill, and he will certainly act to restore those wards as quickly as you can take them down. Here, though, I can aid you. I can dismantle the wards he has placed on the door into the bridge, but doing so is no small trick. Once the door is made mundane, it will be upon you to surprise him at the seat of his power.
Or we could wait till he comes here.
That might not be for days. He just goes on to explain that he will be able to assist you guys with accessing parts of the ship, especially the bridge, but he will not be able to assist you directly in the fight. And finally, is there anything else you can do to prepare? Hold on a sec. What is this? You guys have not yet visited the rejuvenation chamber. He's going to tell you, let me just double check this. I'm going to make sure because he can tell you about the rejuvenation chamber. So if you guys need it, through a locked door, there is a chamber in here that can give a single creature the benefits of a full night's rest in only 10 minutes, including restoring spell slots, focus points, and other limited resources. Also, if necessary, a creature that's been dead for less than 10 minutes when placed within the activated capsule is returned to life as though by an 8th level raised dead spell.
Dang.
Yeah. And there might be other medical assistant things in there. But you should, that is a door that is possibly locked or warded that he can't help you with. So he's just letting you know that you should definitely check out that chamber before you, probably right before the final battle.
All right.
Well, if it's only one creature.
I guess my
No,
other
like
question is...
the King of Biting Ants will definitely have bodyguards.
No, I'm saying if it's only one creature that can go into the capsule, right?
Yeah.
So then I guess here becomes the meta thing then. Who do we want to, for lack of a better word, expend all their resources in these next? Because I'm sure there'll have to be fights along the way. Like we'll probably have to clear out that main lab room.
Avi, use all your things.
That's true. At this point, I am 2 spell slots down.
So Avi, you continue to pop the big spells, and then we'll... Hey, Old Mage Depembe, can you tell me how big the bridge is?
As far as I can tell, the bridge is actually a fairly small room.
Yeah, so it probably couldn't support multiple gargantuan creatures in it.
No.
Okay, cool.
This
So
is the
then,
problem actually I have with the AP. It's quite a small room.
so then during the next encounter, I'm going to pop something rather big, just because it's a gargantuan creature and it can't be smaller.
I guess my other question to Tembe is, do you know if he has a means of summoning the workers to him? Because we have some guys that we left down there that we don't necessarily need to expend the resources fighting if we don't have to, but we don't want them coming after us later.
Give me one quick second. I'm just going to check something regarding the final battle.
Oh, they said something about a Formian queen, too. Like the cultists.
True.
So, like, it might be a situation as the queen's controlling them, so if we take them out, then the drones will become free.
Yeah, how interconnected is everything? Is it the sort of thing where once we start swinging, everyone's gonna know we're here?
No, I mean, the hum of the ship is pretty loud, and there's a pretty good distance between the two decks, so I don't think anything on below deck would hear us fighting up here.
I more mean less in a hearing way and more in a sensing via hive mind connection sort of way.
Give me a quick second here. I'm just reading something. Yeah, hold on.
You're good. I'm just making noise for the stream. I don't know.
Sorry, what was the questions?
Which one? We have several.
The main one being, if we start fighting things, is that immediately going to have everything in the ship aggro onto us?
Probably not the guys on the first floor. Admittedly, if you start a fight on the bridge, which is at the far end of this floor of the ship, it's very likely, at the very least, all the cultists from the room you just left will probably try and flank you guys.
I mean, I think in my thought process, we're already committed to clearing out at least this floor.
Yeah, the lab has to be cleared out because invisibility sphere is down, and
Yeah.
it's
I
not
will
going
also
back
say
up.
this. The AP doesn't make mention of this, but I'm making an executive decision here. Because Old Mage Jatembe would know this. One, it will absolutely get rid of the problem of the guys on the first floor, even possibility, and it potentially could make the final fight easier. You guys heard mention of a queen being mentioned.
Yeah.
There is, Old Mage Jatembe has seen this, but he hasn't been able to do anything about it. There is a Formian queen who commands all the other Formians on the ship who has currently been dominated by the King of Biting Ants. If you can find a way to release her from that spell, you probably have to do it pretty quick to avoid having to fight her. That will, one, prevent you from having to fight any of the Formians, including her. And it's, a nice thing to do.
Yeah, we should free them. That's pretty messed up.
Yeah.
That's part of why I wanted to do this before just fighting things, because I was like, I have a sneaking suspicion that, and we're gonna find out later that they were forced to be doing this, and we're gonna feel bad about it, but now we don't have to. These guys though, there's nothing we can do. So we will do that. We will look through the lab for an answer as to how to help the queen. Can I just roll maybe an Arcana check to see if I know how to break dominate spells?
Sure.
That's a 45.
So, obviously, if you had a dispelling ability, something like that, or just any sort of anti-magic, Like if you were to set off like an anti-magic field right next to her, that would obviously cancel any existing enchantments or abilities on her. Um,
I sure don't have either of those
Let me
things.
just
Do
look up.
either
You'd
of
roll a
you?
high thing, so I'm gonna actually look up the dominate spell myself. Um, da-bum-bum-ba-dum.
While Matt looks that up, Ophelia and Igra, can I ask you guys to look through your summons to see if there's any high-level summons that can cast
Nope.
it Dispel Magic?
I got nothing that can do that.
Maybe. Let's see.
I mean, so here's the thing. Igora will bring out Spell Cutter.
Oh, what are the rules for spell cutter?
That we haven't had a chance to sell yet. One action interact. Wait, is this the one that? Oh, it only works on our target. Let me read. While spell cutter is a potent weapon for battling undead and constructs, prevents from harboring living creatures. No, it just gets rid of light. It doesn't have a dispel effect on it. Here's the question. What was... Because we still have that spell book from that lich. Did they have any of the spells in there? Because all of you could technically rip them out of that.
That is a question I will actually have to maybe look into, because that's
Yeah.
interesting.
And
I'm not sure.
Avi
You may have
should
had
be
to
able-
have...
What book is this?
Well, you guys
the
found...
Grimoire of Unknown Necessities.
The Grimoire, there was actually the Soul Cage. You guys destroyed the one page, but it might still also have some abilities that we haven't... There's some stuff that Endures might be able to do that might sort of break. Like, I'm not sure if a Banishment would break a Dominate because you're removing someone from this plane.
Interesting. The Grimoire, I should be asking Matt about that Grimoire more often than I do. Activate once per day requirement. You're an arcane spellcaster. I can just put it in chat. We can all read it.
Unfortunately, it requires it to be done before you're prepared your spells.
Yeah. Well,
So, if you... Here's the thing. We didn't do this. If you roll a certain... Like, I'd maybe let you roll something, and if you get a good result on the roll, we can retroactively say that you prepared something to counter... Like, if the possibility exists within the options afforded by this book, we can say you prepared that. Because it's not the most unreasonable thing.
I mean, it is.
Yeah.
It just gives you that spell per day, like as a one
It
action.
gives you
opener.
like a random spell of your
Provides you with a
highest
temporary
level
knowledge of a
today.
single spell of the highest level you're capable of casting that you don't already have recorded in any of your other spell books.
Read the
Chosen
next
by the
up.
GM based on the knowledge of the adventure particularly useful. Okay, so yeah.
Yeah.
Chosen by me.
So-
So
You let me know what I'm rolling, Matt. I will roll it right now.
I feel like this is more of almost like a luck check.
Well,
You want
no,
me to just
because
roll a
like
straight
you would have,
D20?
Avi would have done this at the start of the day. You would have.
I would
given
have
her-
done this at the start of the day. What spell it was, how useful it is. whether
What's
it
the
happens
highest
to be
level
the-
spell you have access to, and what
I
school?
believe it's 9th in Arcane.
Okay, let me just double check
Double
something
check
here.
that.
Yeah, it is 9th.
Yeah.
We have 9th level spells at this point. Because it is I quote, the GM gives you a spell at the highest level you're capable of casting. Keep in mind, spells can be heightened that you don't already have recorded in your spell book, chosen by you based on your knowledge of the adventure to be particularly useful to you during the upcoming day. So it would totally fit.
That said, it could also be a teleportation spell or a location spell that I don't yet have. Whether it happens to be, in this case, an anti-magic field or a high-level dispel, that's pretty specific. So I'm okay with making that luck check, Matt. Plus, I like dice.
You know what? Let's roll the dice, see what happens. Just give me a d20.
Dirty D20. Let's go. That's a 5.
All right,
All
well,
right.
let's kill the Formians. Time to kill the Formians.
Well, you guys have a week to think about this because it's about to be 4 minutes. You're not even going to be fighting them first, so and you might find something in the lab. You don't
Well,
know.
so Matt, what was the spell then?
I'm going to have to get back to you on that.
Give it a
Oh, yeah.
Here's the thing. There is a 9th level spell that could help, but it's not a clean thing. There is
no.
Detonate Magic, where you could literally cause the Dominate spell to explode.
Oh, that's worth
That
it.
that unfortunately might necessitate a immediate diplomacy check afterwards. Like, you caused 8d6 damage or something. Like, yes, but you're
I'm-
no longer dominated.
I'm actually okay with that. That'd be great. That'd be so wonderful for us.
Yeah, it is literally 8d6 force damage with a reflex save. You attempt to counteract the target, so you would still have to counteract it. So we have to, again, figure out how counteracts work.
I know how that works. I can help us
Okay.
with that.
So, yeah, I'm going to say, because this is a fun little twist of fate, because, yes, it gives you what you want, but also it possibly is destructive, you do get Detonate Magic.
Yay!
The lich, you
magic.
get the vaguest sense of like the lich smiling at you, being petty, like, yes, I'm obligated to give you this spell, but you're gonna hurt someone when you do it.
Well, thank you all so much for coming to tonight's episode of The Strength of Thousands. Join us next time as we take over the
Shit
ship.
goes down.
Yay! Shit goes
And as we
At least
possibly,
one episode more on this book, and
As
probably
we-
at most 2.
as we possibly get to the end of book 5 and start moving into book 6 of the Strength of Thousands Adventure
And-
Path.
Shit goes crazy in book 6 right away, guys.
Well then,
You are not prepared.
No, I'm not.
Godspeed and-
How many chapters is book 6?
I don't actually know.
think it's
I know the vaguest what's happening, but it's not very big.
I think it's 3 because it's probably 1 chapter per level, and then maybe 4 if we get a thing at level 20. So because we'll be level 18 going into it because we'll level up after this. Just from how APs are structured, and then we'll probably have a chapter in the AP that'll get us to 19, a chapter that'll get us to 20, and then 1 at 20. So maybe 3 chapters. I mean, this one was 3 chapters.
And then anywhere from 2 to 4 sessions for the golden ending.
Yeah, so at least 100 more episodes. So thank you all so much for coming. Check out our many other shows here on the channel, and we'll see you all on the next one. Bye-bye.
Have a good night, everyone.